Make This Make Sense brings together three professors and dynamic guests to unpack
the systems, trends, and social dynamics everyone is confused about.
With the women who actually understand them. With your hosts,
Entrepreneurship Professor Dr. Colleen Robb,
Entrepreneurship Instructor Annie Stout,
and Blockchain Instructor Kelly Werder.
Nicki Joyner is a high-energy keynote speaker whose work centers on helping students get jobs faster and growing their impact. She's a former Fortune 100 company recruiter turned nationally recognized career readiness speaker and is known for her relatable and hands-on approach that makes complex career topics simple and actionable. As an award-winning entrepreneur with dual degrees and professional certifications, Nicki combines practical insight with an energetic delivery that students trust. The goal is always the same: help students take action and believe in what's possible.
Annie, I am so excited for this speaker that you arranged, who I just met, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
I don't think everybody's ready for this one. I don't know. She's going to be amazing.
Like this, a lot of energy. I'm super excited to talk with her, and she seems excited to be here. So this is super cool. This is going to be fun.
It's going to be so fun. We are missing Colleen today, so we do in our intro. You might have heard there's three of us, but there's only two today.
She's with us in spirit. Yeah,
she's with us in spirit. She's with her cat is having surgery, so she's dealing with that, and she's a cat mom and a dog mom, and she takes her furry kids very seriously. So
we're the most dedicated furry mom. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you'll get to know that soon.
Yeah.
Because
exactly. I feel guilty sometimes. Like
the cat sometimes walks across the screen. Yeah. So you'll be hearing more about that. But let's just get this rolling. I'm ready to bring Nicki up. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right,
let's do it.
Here we go. Okay. Welcome, Nicki, to the stage.
Hi, Nicki.
Hi.
What's up, y'all? We all need to do that. That's a great way to start.
So much energy.
Yes. That's great.
What's up, y'all? Happy day. I'm so happy to be here.
I'm so glad. We're so glad to have you here. You're so much energy. Amazing. I'm super excited to chat with you. Annie, kick us off.
Sure.
Get us rolling here.
Absolutely. So thanks for joining us, Nicki. What really struck me, so we're entrepreneurship instructors.
Yeah.
And what really struck me is your entrepreneurial career and your female-owned business. Would love to hear a little bit about that journey, what it's been like for you, and kind of how you found your niche and so specific within this like large industry. So
yeah, I love it. Well, I am the person who graduated from college that thought that I would work in education for the rest of my life. I thought I would work on a college campus until it was time for me to retire. And I spent about
Annie, can you relate?
Yeah, I sure can.
Okay. All right. I was going to be a lifer. For sure. And I spent about 9 years in higher ed, and that job was wrapped around my entire identity. I mean, all my friends, all my extracurricular activities, anybody that I knew was wrapped around that. Anything I did outside of the office, because I don't know that you're ever really outside of the office when you work on a college campus, but anything that I did not in front of my desk always was revolved around decisions with this core identity of working in higher ed. Wow. And in January of 2020, I lost my job. And my whole world just shattered. I mean, I think I was more worried about like how I was going to explain this to other people, right? I'm like in like PR crisis, crisis mode. Like, oh my gosh, there's no way that like you don't have a job in higher ed anymore. This is your whole life, right? And then the global pandemic happened, so that was strange. And it was really hard for me to find.
And then there were a lot of people out of work.
Exactly. Right. So me and 3 million other people looking for jobs at the same time. So I spent the next 16 months either unemployed or doing side gig hustle work. I did not have a full-time job for 16 months. I did some contracting work. I worked part-time at an apartment complex where I was giving apartment tours to people like 6 feet apart. So I was like, all right, I'm going to enter the living room. Now you enter the living room and I'm going to go to the bedroom. Right. Like it was just strange. And then I did a lot of Uber Eats, a lot of Lyft, a lot of Instacart. I was shopping for other people's groceries. I'm like, I don't even like shop for my own groceries. But I'm like, I need money, right? Like I need to be able to pay bills. So during that time, I was applying for jobs. I mean, and I hit like wall after wall after wall. I applied for over 600 jobs.
Wow.
Over 600
Wow.
jobs.
Wow.
And in total, I had 11 interviews, and I took the third offer that I got. So the first two just were not the right fit. We just and I think I learned a lot from my experience in higher ed to be like, all right, I'm gonna hold out and I'm gonna wait for what I want. And during that time, during those 16 months, I had a lot of spare time, y'all. So I was like, what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
What am I gonna do
Right.
to make an impact and to make money? And I remember my time in higher ed, I spent a lot of time at conferences presenting to students. I would do things on campus, and someone had reached out and said, hey, could we pay you to do some virtual education for our students? I'm like, can you? will you is probably the better answer.
Right.
Like, yeah. And I entered into this whole world of speaking. And I'm like, wow, like this is an actual thing. I didn't even realize that. So I spent that time while I was doing, going to drop off people's groceries. I'm listening in my ear to a 60-minute webinar from somebody about like how they jump started their speaking business. And I was like, I have to make this work. I have to make it work. And then I became a crossroads where I was like, all right, I got this amazing and incredible offer at JP Morgan Chase. They've offered me more money than I have ever seen in my entire life. What am I going to do? Am I going to take this offer that I've been looking for the past 16 months? Or am I going to like go off and do the speaking? And I decided to take the offer. And honestly, I'm so glad I did. I'm so glad that I did, because in hindsight, I was not ready to be a full-time entrepreneur. And that's the first thing that I want people to hear. If you're listening to this, there's a lot of noise out there about how you should quit your job and you should go all in on yourself and you should be a full-time entrepreneur. And I think that advice is trash. I really think it's trash. There's not enough people that understand business acumen and fundamentals of finance to be able to be in a place where they can be a full-time entrepreneur, especially in the service industry. Most people that are service-based businesses are not starting their business because they're good at business. They're starting their business because they're good at service. I did not have enough business acumen to be able to be successful. So I took the job at Chase, and I was a sourcer, not to be confused with magician, but I had to make a little bit of magic happen. All right. But I was a sourcer. So I was like the person that was messaging candidates to be like, I think you're a great fit for this. Either.
So you were like,
you
were reaching out, like not like looking at applicants, but actually looking for.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Yep. Have either one of you ever gotten a message on LinkedIn that's like, hey, I think you'd be a great fit for that.
Yeah.
That's my job. Yeah, that was my job.
I did that to you, actually.
I don't think I've ever looked at them.
Yeah. I found you. That's how I found you.
Yeah. So I was doing that for about 8-ish months. And then I became a recruiter, and then a senior associate, which is basically like a recruiter that makes more money and does the same job. And that was awesome. And then I did some program management before I left. So I had so many different seats while I was sitting there. And my time at Chase just helped to deepen my understanding and really reframe my understanding about the job search, the workforce, how people get hired. And it helped to marry my experience in higher ed, working with students pre-process and then being on the other end of the process. And it also helped me find my voice as a speaker, because now that is what I do. I am your favorite career readiness speaker. So I am going to high schools and colleges, and I'm talking to students.
I think you're definitely now my favorite career readiness speaker. After 10, I mean, what have you been doing? Like, it's been 9 minutes.
Yes.
And I'm with you. Like, I'm with you.
I love it. So now that is what I do full time. I am the one of 2 people that work for the career company by Nicki Joyner, and you guessed it, it's me, Nicki Joyner. So I have learned so much. I am a self-taught, community-made entrepreneur. I don't have any formal business training. I don't come from an entrepreneurial family. When I moved here to Dallas and really jump started my business, I had less than $100 in my bank account. Like I am scrappy. I am full on gorilla mode. Like I'm just like, I want to do this and I want to do it my way. And it's taken me about 6 years. So 6 years after being a part-time entrepreneur, I went full-time. So I left my job last March at Chase, and now I do this full-time.
Wow. Annie, you know what's funny is we have a lot of times where we meet entrepreneurs and they're like, you can't teach entrepreneurship. You can't teach entrepreneurship
all the time.
All the time. And yet you can, but you cannot make somebody an entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
You can teach them about it, because if you have I can just, you can feel it just coming off the screen, that like, if you already have that in you, like you can do it, you can self-learn it, you can, work through it, but you have to put the time in. And there's a lot of people who don't have that drive. That's like the 1%, but the 1% is very successful because they have that drive. And it's really fun to hear you say that.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Yeah,
right?
I think it's so true. Like we have so many students that, well, why am I sitting in this class when I could be out making money? And so it's difficult sometimes to keep their engagement. And we have people just like you that are in front of us every day that are just going out and doing it. And so can you teach scrappy? I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's hard. You can't teach hustle. You can't teach scrappy. You can teach about business. You can teach about the things that probably took you a little longer to learn on your own, but you can't teach the drive. Absolutely not.
Yeah, fair.
Impossible.
Fair.
Impossible.
Well, and two, I think so many students have been indoctrinated to understand work as time as an exchange for money.
Sure.
And in entrepreneurship, we know that is not the case. I work sometimes 60, 90 days before I get paid. And for a lot of people, they're just like, I don't want to do that. What I hear when people say, well, I don't know if I could do that. What I hear is I can't bet on myself right now to do that.
Interesting. Yeah.
So in a lot of ways, I think this the workforce is just changing because entrepreneurship is at all-time spike and an all-time high, especially after COVID. So it's so interesting now because as I'm having conversations with high schools and colleges, we talk about the pathways. Am I going to go to the workforce? Am I going to go to college? Am I going to go to the military? This fourth option now is, am I going to go into entrepreneurship?
Right.
And that is fascinating and makes a lot of people who work in the education system very uncomfortable.
That's why they're so uncomfortable with me. Okay, that makes sense.
Yes, because it's like we have all these systematized pathways for these other three things, and we ain't got nothing over here for this, but students are still choosing it. So it's fascinating.
Annie,
yeah.
I know you had some other questions. I'll throw it back to you.
Absolutely. Okay. So you've got over a decade in higher ed and corporate recruiting. Would you say that your time in higher ed has really, served to inform what you're currently doing? And how does your business work? Can you just describe, do you work with individual students? What is the model?
Love it. Yes. So working in higher ed taught me a lot about myself, but it also taught me a lot about the educational system in general and how students navigate it. I would not have been able to get that in a framework capacity had I not worked in higher ed, because I would only know what works for me. And that is what 95% of people in the career industry, the career coaching space, that's what they do. They teach people what they did to be successful. And that's great. And I'm glad that worked for you, person in Google or person that got this Microsoft job. That's awesome.
Right.
I teach people frameworks that work for the masses. And the reason that I do that is because of my experience in higher ed, knowing the value that is. Do I have my personal stories? Absolutely. 1,000,000,000,000,000%. But I don't teach people what I did. I teach people what works for the masses based upon those two that I've sat in. So my business is wicked cool. What I get to do every day it's so awesome. I have kind of two lines of business within my company. The first is the services I sell to other businesses.
Okay.
I go to high schools, colleges,
Okay.
leadership events, and
Mhm.
people pay me to speak at their event.
Okay.
So I am the keynote speaker for a career day. I am
Okay.
the speaker that you bring in for your leadership conference at the college. I am coming in for the Women in Business Organization
Mm.
conference or whatever.
Okay.
And I have some signature sessions that I do. They're a little tailored or different depending on if it's high school or college.
Sure.
But I am teaching students or helping them unpack what they need to do to get a higher paying job faster for whatever their lens is or whatever seat they're sitting in. The other half of my business, which is honestly something that I don't even know if it exists with anybody else, is me working with individual people. Now, I think the career coach space is very prevalent, and I feel like everybody has at least one family member who's a career coach. Okay, like it's a very popular job.
Probably. Yeah. It's
I am not a career coach. I like to refer to myself as a career agent.
like that.
So I work with students one-on-one in an agent representation format to help them from start to finish get a higher paying job faster. My primary audience is Gen Z.
Okay.
And the reason that I built my business like this is because when I was a recruiter, I was the agent for the company.
Okay.
Right.
That was my job. I was there on behalf of the company. Candidates in this job search process, they don't have any agents. They have no support.
Right.
They're like flying solo, building the plane as they fly it.
Mhm.
And that's why a lot of people are having trouble navigating the job search. That's why a lot of people are having trouble getting a job or getting another job. That's why people are getting frustrated about job search processes and AI and all of this jazz. And it's often why people leave money on the table. It's because they don't
Yeah.
have somebody in their corner
Yeah.
and they don't have somebody in their pocket.
Absolutely.
So that is the other half of my business is I am an agent. So students can apply to work with me, and they pay me on a percentage of the money that I help them make.
Ooh, wow.
Great.
Yeah,
So
That's
not
really
a
cool.
flat fee.
Little bit
That's very
Nope.
interesting.
That's
Nope.
really
That's-
interesting. That's a great
I-
model for
I
Yeah.
haven't met anybody that's doing that. That's super creative.
very
Yeah.
interesting.
Super niche. And I applaud you for that.
Thank you. Thank
That's
you.
pretty-
Yeah,
I think it shows a lot of confidence in your success rate, is my guess.
a
Because
1,000%.
no one's gonna do that if they think
Yeah.
they're gonna fail at it. You know what I mean? Like if
Right.
you know you can be that help there, it's easier to take
Exactly.
the percentage. So yeah, amazing.
1,000,000,000%. I'm so glad that you said that because there's so many people in this career coaching space right now that are like, I'm gonna help you get a job in 90 days or
Right.
less.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are you, the employer?
Yeah.
You can't
Like
you
how
can't,
do you know that for sure? Yeah, right.
you can't
Yeah.
do that. Like, but it's just like the internet has become so gimmicky that a lot of people are losing trust in
Yeah.
hiring somebody like me because people are like, well, I'll help you do this, I'll help you do that, I'll do this, blah blah blah. And I'm like, you can't promise people that.
Sure.
So I really had to think differently when I got into this space about like, what was I actually going to do? Like, and how am I actually going to position myself as a trust builder? Not as just an entrepreneur or a coach or a consultant or whatever. Especially for this audience, Gen Z does not care about your title.
And that's what I was going to ask you about Gen Z. So what is Gen Z, specifically females, looking for careers or positions? What is really important to them? What have you noticed?
Awesome question. So I think in my experience, a lot of students are prioritizing different things based upon their vantage point and the background that they come from. So there are some commonalities, but there are some differences. I am a first generation college student.
Okay.
So I tend to work with a lot of other first gen students. And
Right.
a big priority for first gen students is ensuring that they can reach a success metric. Now, do we actually know what the success metric is? Most of us are like, no, it's whatever my parent, guardian, whoever paid for my college says. But I think one of the commonalities that I see in Gen Z, specifically Gen Z women, is students are hungry. Like
Yeah.
they're just like, I will do what it takes to be successful. I just need to figure out what that version of success is. And in my experience working with this population of students, their version of success is likely different from the adults around them.
Sure.
It's either doing two things. One is causing friction with the
Mhm.
people that are closest in their life because they're pursuing things that feel untouchable to mom, dad, grandma, auntie, uncle, whatever. Or number two, it's causing friction in the workplace because they are so chill and they ask a lot of
Ah,
questions. But they're very, very chill, but they ask a lot of questions because they're curious, like, why would we insert this thing
right.
here when they have like this small fix to be able to fix it? It causes friction amongst
Mhm.
other generations of people that are like,
Mhm.
how are you so chill and so smart? Like, what? I don't, you know what I mean? Like,
How do I learn how to
right,
do that? Yeah. Like, yeah.
exactly.
Well, and if you
Yeah.
think about Gen Z, they've had the whole entire world of knowledge in their pocket since they were born. So it's a
Exactly.
very different, like
Yep.
they just have grown up very differently in a very
Yes.
different world. So
Yes.
it's interesting to me. And I always find them also much more highly emotionally intelligent than the other generations, in my opinion. And
Yeah.
Definitely.
I've
Yeah.
definitely seen that through the years for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, and I think, you know, as you're talking about that, because they have such a high level of smarts, a lot of the students I work with are in a place where they know what they will not tolerate.
Mm,
So they know what they don't want in the workplace. And it's not always, they don't always know what they do want, but they know
Mhm.
what they don't
mm,
want. And to me, that is so fascinating. I was having a conversation with somebody the other day whose kid didn't want to go to college. And he was like, he has like a doctorate, and he's like, no, you will go to college. Like
Right.
you're
Right.
going to college, blah, blah, blah,
Right.
blah. And his son's reality was, I've seen you struggle for 45 years with
Interesting.
this
mm,
high degree that you have, and we
Mhm.
still live check to check. I'm not subjecting myself to that. Like, I'm
mm,
not doing this. This is not necessary for me, and I'm not going, right? Two very different realities that are now clashing. And that Gen Z reality is, I see people talking about the American dream, this is
Mm.
what life is like. And then
Right.
they're watching those people miserable outside of work, and they're
Yeah.
like, I'm good. You know what I mean? Like, I'm
Mhm.
fine.
Yeah.
I don't need that.
Right. I see
I don't
that.
know.
I see that in my classes all the time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That students are looking at their parents and grandparents going, I want the exact opposite experience
Yep.
that they have, gone through. And so I think it's really interesting. I think too, do you notice that they are prioritizing travel and experiences over like buying that first home? I know that's shifted quite a bit as well.
Yeah. So I find that if I am working with a student that is trying to figure out how I want to phrase this. If I am working with a first gen student,
Hmm.
any like any salary that is like 60,000, 70,000, 80,000, 90,000 feels like a lot of money.
Right.
And it did to me too. When Chase offered me $74,000, I was like, yep. And then I have people that are like, you didn't negotiate your salary? No. That was twice as much as I'd ever made in my life. What you mean? No way. So I think a lot of students are prioritizing money because they know and they can now understand how money is made, especially with this day and age of like money on the
Mm,
internet. Like it's
mhm,
very easy to
Sure.
make money on the internet. So people are like, I'm not going to take less money now because I know how money is made. Whereas before, I think not every other generation I think has fully grasped how companies make money, so what they're
Mhm.
worth, right? I do
mm,
think there's a little bit of conflation with what I'm worth versus what the market will pay me.
Sure.
That's a little different, right? And that's
Sure.
something we got to work
Sure.
through. Um, but yeah, I would say that is definitely something, is like that's a priority for them, is money, but flexibility.
mm,
Ah,
They want flexibility. A lot of things that I often see people push back on in offer letters is like, oh, you mean I have to commit to this for 2 years? Oh, I
mm,
have to be in the office for 5 days.
right.
Oh, I
mm,
I I
Right.
have to meet this certain metric or whatever. That is a red flag. Two red flags. for them, because
Interesting.
anything that doesn't offer flexibility, and it's not just the work from home, or it's not just the, I want to be able to travel. It's anything that requires them to be committed for a long period of time on paper. People are like, I'm not really sure about that. And it's so interesting because companies have now swung the pendulum the other way. And in many cases, students are not getting hired if they don't have previous commitment in an apprenticeship or an internship with a company once they graduate. So it's creating a little bit of friction, and it's leaving a lot of students just out to like fend for themselves. And that's why we have such a high rate of students right now that are not getting jobs. It is not because yes, does the job market suck? Sure. I feel like it always sucks. I don't know that there's ever a time where it's like the job market is awesome. But
you missed the 90s. Sorry.
The 90s were a good time.
That was it. It was over.
I was in diapers. I was in middle school. So like,
This is the last time.
I'm an old lady. I could be your mother.
Last time the job market didn't suck was the 90s.
Okay, awesome. I'm like, well, that's why I didn't get it.
Good times. Good times.
Yes. But I mean, that is why so many students feel like they're at a disadvantage, and they're not getting the right information from the systems that are set up to support them, because those systems are not moving as quickly as the workforce is. I cannot tell you the amount of times I've sat in front of a senior student or even a junior student, specifically someone who is graduating, and they're like, wait, what do you mean? And I'm like, you don't have an internship yet? And they're like, no, I'm graduating. I'm going to get my internship now. Baby, there is no internships for you. That ship has sailed. Okay. There and back twice. No, ma'am.
So that's really interesting, because my son's about to start college, and he made a shift. He made a shift from what he was thinking about doing to golf management. And the program for golf management at FGCU has four internships that are required to graduate, and they are significant, like, and paid. So I was like, okay, like, that's, to me, those type of programs where that's required before you graduate is crucial for some industries. Like,
and that's why they have such a high success rate, I think.
They have 100% placement once they graduate. So,
and I think
gonna have a job.
I think we're going to start to see a lot of colleges and universities do that, because starting July 1, students are not going to be able to use federal funding for majors that don't graduate and place students at a certain rate. Meaning, like, if I want to be a philosophy major, it actually has the philosophy and anthropology have the highest unemployment rate. It's like in the 9%. So like,
I can imagine.
One out of every 10 students is like, I ain't got no job. I'm like, I could have told you that. But you are going to start to see students that or colleges and universities require an apprenticeship, an internship, going to be for class credit, because these students have to get placed in jobs. Otherwise, these universities are going to fall fast. They are going to crumble fast, because they're not going to have as much federal funding from financial aid and all of these pieces. That's what makes all the universities go round. That's how people get paid, is that type of money. So it's going to be fascinating to watch how what you're experiencing with your son is going to become the standard. And people who do not hop onto that, they're not going to exist in 10 years, because they're not placing students at a high enough job rate. And that's why people are starting to find other options that are not four-year college. So I think, Annie, that's how we got connected, is I wrote that article about like, we got this new option. And like,
I'm like, I want to hear about this option.
People better buy in or get out. Because now students are going to be able to use federal funding that they would otherwise use for four-year college on something that might take them 6 weeks, 12 weeks, 16 weeks, and go straight into the workforce. So it's not going to be this fully well-rounded education and character development 4-year, 5-year experience. It's going to be highly skilled trades that people need people in now. So students are going to have to decide. am I going to do this 16-week program that's going to get me a check by, that's going to get me a job or a check by Thanksgiving? Or am I going to go to college this fall? Like, and for some students, specifically those students that are college bound, have always been college bound, whose mom graduated from Auburn, whose grandmother graduated from Auburn. We know Sister Friend's going to Auburn. That's great for her. But a lot of colleges and universities are targeting first-gen students, and that population of first-gen students are not the always Auburn goers. These are the students that now have the choice, and we're going to see the split. So I think it's going to be fascinating. I'm just sitting back being like,
yeah,
what's going to happen? I don't know.
And I'm very pro higher education, but I don't think it has to come in one form. Like trade schools are, such a smart way to go for a lot of students, you know, and there's so many, if you think about HVAC and electric and all these things, like these are the trades that can't be replaced by AI anytime soon.
Exactly.
So like these are the things, like, of course you want to, if for certain students, that's going to be the best option, 100%. And they're going to do great.
I actually was reading this article a couple weeks back, and it was saying how an electrician is going to become the #1 trade in the next 10 years because all of these AI data centers are going to need people. And there's not enough electricians in the world right now to be able to service the data centers.
I think.
Yeah.
I mean,
we need
job security.
It's this like starting pay is like $55 an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like,
okay, what are we doing?
hello, Dr. Adam Joyner, my husband. Are you sure you want to continue to work on this college campus, or would you like to become Dr. Adam Joyner, the electrician? I'm unclear. I don't know. I feel like we have options.
It's like, let me be your career agent.
Yeah, exactly.
Honey, I know somebody. I know somebody. Yes, I love it.
I know somebody who can direct you.
That's so great.
So good. Annie, what else did you have on your list? She had a list, but I know we've been going off on tangents, and I love a conversation that goes all over the place.
Okay.
I love a conversation.
So, and this is something. So where do you see young women still being kind of underestimated or talked over as they start their careers?
Oof.
That's a good one.
When I worked at Chase, one of the programs I recruited for was a wealth manager. And this is the person that helps to manage like your rich neighbor's money.
Sure.
And it was so fascinating to me because I remember looking at the pool of applicants, and there was over 1,000 applications for this wealth manager job. They were hiring 12 people, and we had 44 women applied.
Interesting.
44. Yep. There was over 1,000 applicants. There was 44 women. I'm like,
applying. Yeah.
So then,
not surprised. Yeah.
I start to get curious, and I'm like, why aren't women applying for this job? Like, et cetera, et cetera. So I open up the job description, and I joke you not, this was not something that I was a part of. I'm just like, oh, it's already posted. Like another team does this, right? There's like 1 million people that work at Chase. There was like 27 bullet points. 27 bullet points for this entry level job. Well, no, ma'am. No wonder people aren't applying. Specifically, no wonder women are not applying. There's a lot of research that shows that women do not apply to jobs they don't meet 100% of the qualifications for, while men will apply to jobs if they only meet 50% or sometimes less.
So I do a lot of work in blockchain, and I always say if I had the confidence of the 20-something crypto bro, man, I could rule the world.
Everybody needs to harness the 20-something crypto bro.
Right?
Yes. Okay. Everybody does.
Because they think they can do anything, and it doesn't matter what the job description. Like,
exactly.
Of course. And they probably can, but I mean, it's like,
absolutely.
You know, I'd look at that and go, oh, I can't do that. No, no way. Where of course I could, but it wouldn't even cross my mind. Right.
Yeah.
Right. And
that makes perfect sense.
I think about like, and I think oftentimes we hear like people need to be represented, right? People need to see themselves.
Sure.
I want to tell you this quick story. It absolutely changed my life. I was at this career day, and it was for middle school students. And I was one of the speakers there. Prior to that, they had a few people come from different areas. One of the areas was the firefighters. So, they show up in their full uniform.
They upstage you.
I'm not gonna lie. People were like, "This is cool."
That's a tough one.
I know, and I'm like, I love it. Cool. So there were 3 people that came from the fire department. They had their 10 minutes to talk to this group of students, and then they said, "Okay, cool. What questions do you have?" Gets a little silent because I think people are just mesmerized by their outfits. And again, they're like in their 20s and 30s. These are nice looking dudes. All right. Like, I'm like,
where's the calendar? Yeah.
Right. And this student, she was in like the second or third row on the corner. She raised her hand and she said, "Do you all accept women as candidates for the fire academy?" She was so genuine.
Sure.
She was so genuine. Sure. And in that moment, again, this is an 8th grader. In that moment, I was like, wow. There were 3 men on the stage. And she thought to herself, I wonder if this is even a possibility for me. And then she got enough courage to ask the question.
Right.
And some of the other students started laughing. And the principal, who is a woman, shout out to the women principals, all right, she came up on this stage and she took the mic and she said, "Actually, that is an incredible question. Thank you for asking this question. Like, there are lots of jobs." And she took the mic and she was like, "I will tell my story." Okay. So
love it.
She's like, I didn't even want to apply for this job because I don't see a lot of other women principals. And so I just want
that moment. That's cool.
Exactly. I just want to take this moment to be like, all of you who are women in this audience, you can do these things. But representation is an incredibly important thing because it is a manifestation of what we think is possible. And I think so many young women are going into the job search process thinking it's not possible for them because they don't see themselves. There is not a lot of wealth managers that are women. I would go on these calls with the business and it would be like, dude, woman, dude, woman. Like, I'm like, okay. And again, like, we're fighting against a lot of other things.
Sure.
But really, in order for a student, or really for anybody, if anybody wants to get a job, their main goal is to get somebody else to trust them. The problem is many young people don't trust themselves. They don't trust their own skills. They don't trust their own abilities. They don't trust that they are the right person for this job. And then they're going into these interviews trying to get another adult to trust them. Well, I got news for you. You are never going to get somebody else to trust you if you don't trust yourself.
Wow. It's just all about mindset.
Absolutely.
So much mindset.
Absolutely.
And that's a class that Dr. Rob has, she's not with us, but she's perfected this mindset class and she has students do all kinds of things to build resiliency. And I think it's so interesting that you talk about representation because actually in what I do for a living, when I'm in front of students all the time, I think that that's such an important role to let them know that, hey, you can be up here too. You can share your knowledge confidently and other people will trust you. But I think that's huge, like trusting yourself before you go.
Well, even our entrepreneurship program is what, 70% men?
Yes.
Right? About 30% women. So
girl is back raising her hand and I'm like, yes. Yeah.
I mean, but I think to loop around with what we talked about at the very beginning, so much of entrepreneurship requires you to be scrappy.
Sure.
And from a very young age, we teach women not to be scrappy. So it's really hard for us to sit around this room and be like, oh my God, I'm so surprised. Like,
yes.
We did this. You know what I mean? This did exactly what you wanted it to do. So it's so fascinating to me. And it's really honestly reshaped the way that I work with younger students because so often when people talk about careers, they'll throw out job titles. I've seen it time and time when there's other career speakers and they're like, yeah, you could be a doctor, you could be a lawyer, like using a pronoun of him over and over again, or he. Like, these things are implicit messages and they matter. They matter to the students that we're talking about because this representation is not just about a photo and who's in the photo.
Right.
It's about what they are indoctrinated to think that they are worth. And if we never talk about scenarios where their worth is recognized, no wonder they're looking at us like we're crazy. Like,
Right.
of course.
And they might take a lower paying job. They
And
might,
they do.
you know, they do. Interesting. Is that what you're seeing?
Oh, 1,000,000,000%. It was always so hard. Oh, it was so hard. When I was a recruiter, I would be like, you sure? Is
You
everything
need more time?
Do you have any other questions? Oh no, I'm fine. I'm good. Okay, is there anything else that I can help with? And they're like, no, I'm good. I'm like, are you sure? You know what I mean? Like, okay, I just want to go over the total base.
Yeah.
I want to go over the base pay and the total comp and all this stuff. And they're like, okay, cool. Yeah, I don't have any questions. And I'm like,
You try.
I was that, but I mean, I've done that my whole life too.
Sure.
It's just
because
Sure.
Yeah.
yes, because in many ways, and I was there when I was at Chase. I was like, nope, I don't have any questions. I already signed it. Like I'm
Right.
I'm fine.
I
Because
think
it
I've
was
done
just
that before in my life. Yeah.
like it was more money than I'd ever seen before. And because it was more money than I ever seen before, why would I negotiate
right.
anything?
Why you don't want to take a risk that you're going to lose the job that you wanted.
Right.
Or that you're
So-
difficult. Those
Or you're
kinds
you don't want to be seen as difficult. Yeah, all
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and fun fact, I thought that people like rescinded job offers or like moved on to other candidates or whatever. And I learned when I went through training as a recruiter that never happens. And when
Really?
they started to train us around like how do you give offers? And so there are some limitations on this because like in the early career space, if I'm hiring you for like a program that everybody else is in, your salary is what it is. I can't change it because it's what everyone's is. But when you start to move into the lateral space, meaning I've had one job and now I'm getting another job,
Mhm.
there's always a range. The recruiter is instructed to always offer you the lower part of the range first. The first offer is never the best offer. And I sat in this training and I was like, wow, I wonder what I could have got. I wonder how much money I could have got, right? But so many people, women specifically, are like, I'm just happy with this job. I'm
Right.
happy to be here.
Mhm.
I am so thankful that you saw something in me and you're willing to pay me $74,000. I'll take it, right? As opposed to being like, the first offer is not the best offer. If I could take a billboard out, I actually think I might consider this. I
Yeah.
should get a billboard and I should say the first offer is not the best offer.
I love that.
Negotiate, sis. Like
Love that.
I
I have like
wish more
so
people knew
many
it.
students. I have so many students that have just graduated or getting ready to graduate that need to talk with you because I have like some family members that probably need to talk to you. So what do you want to offer to the world, or how do people get in contact with you? What is the best way to follow your work? What do you want to leave us with today?
Yes, awesome question. So the number one way that I build community is on Instagram. So if anybody
Okay.
wants to find me, my
Okay.
Instagram is in my name.
See
here.
that.
How they
Yes.
hire.
Yes.
She's good.
How
She's good
they
branded.
hire.
Yeah, she's good.
How they hire.
So
I love
How
the
they
name
hire.
too.
Not gonna forget that.
Love the name.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Smart branding.
Mhm.
That is yes, and so that is the number one way that people can find me is there. I post content every day, multiple times per day, and that's how I build community around something that's really dense and really mentally draining, honestly. So that is a great place. I have a work with me wait list that you can find on
Okay.
my Instagram profile.
Okay.
So if you are interested in working with me, you can just drop your name. I think it asks for like your name and your email. And then I will reach out. I have a ton of free resources. So I'm not one of those people that's like, I'm not going to give you anything until you pay me. Most of my
Sure.
stuff is free. I'm going to be honest. So I have a ton of templates, a ton of scripts, a ton of things that I put out there into the world. So people can find me there. And that's if you want to work with me one-on-one. If there are people listening to this that want to bring me to their school, or you're responsible for planning events, or you sway that decision maker in any way, I do speak at high schools and colleges. And you can just go to NickiJoyner.com. Easy peasy.
Annie, we need to make that happen. She needs,
I'm
she
going
needs
to
come
make
to
that
campus.
happen.
We need to make that happen. Like,
Okay,
it has
so
to happen.
No.
Where do y'all work?
Florida Gulf Coast University in Naples, Florida. So like, maybe January, February. I don't know where you are, but it's probably colder than we are. So we'll have to get you here.
I love it.
Here, I think that our students could really.
I think so many of the students, not only like entrepreneurship students, but also like all over the campus would be should get to know you for sure.
So I am going to Florida in the fall.
Oh,
perfect. When are you here? When will you be here?
Well, we'll talk offline.
Yes.
Hang out after we close up, and we'll
totally
information.
Perfect.
But but also if you are somewhere where it's public or you're going to be on a campus, do you have your schedule somewhere that people can see that? Great.
Yep.
Awesome.
So if you go to my Instagram, I pin it at the top.
Perfect.
So
there you go.
My summer schedule is live.
Awesome.
Right
Love it.
Excellent.
Amazing. I do have one last question for you.
Sure.
How did you first start, like when you're doing speaking and you got involved with like, getting booked and things like that? How did you start that? How did you go down that road? You mentioned you listened to somebody, like how did you get there?
So I have listened to a lot of somebody's. I'm just like, I can consume as much knowledge as I need. And then I'm like, okay, cool. How am I going to make this happen? But when I worked in higher ed, in all my jobs, I booked speakers. So I was responsible for bringing speakers on a number of topics. I think I probably booked close to 40 speakers in my career. Wow. So I knew from the back end all the things that most people don't know, which is like, what do I look for? What's my yes versus no pile? What's our budget? Where's our budget come from? All of these things. So I had like insider background knowledge. And in my very first job, our students were planning a leadership conference, and it was like their biggest event for the year. And the speaker got stuck in Chicago because snow.
Because Chicago.
Yeah. Something y'all might not experience in Florida. But
nope, no snow.
They got stuck. So they could not do the keynote session. And we had like 100 students registered for this conference. They came in my office. They were like, panicky and like, what are we going to do? I'm like, go into the conference room. I believe in you. Spend 15 minutes, come up with a plan, come back to me. So then, they all came back. There's 3 students right in a row. And they're like, we have a plan. I was like, what's the plan? They're like, we think you should do the session.
Oh.
Okay, I like the plan less. This is when I was like 25. And I was like, I don't know about this. But I was like, all right, again, I'm scrappy. So whatever. After I did the session, I was like, what am I doing? What am I doing here? So I spent the next 4 years just trying to figure out how I could get on somebody's agency roster. There's a couple of big agencies in the college space, and everybody kept telling me, you don't have enough experience. Like, they kept asking questions around like, are you making money from this? Do you have clients? I'm like, no, that's why I'm here. Of course not. Why do you think we're on this call? And everything was a no. Every large college agency was a no. And I was like, all right, cool, whatever. So then I just like created my own thing. And I repped myself for 4.5 years. That's how I got my first gig. That's how I made my first 6 figures in speaking.
Amazing.
And then I decided like, all right, I need to find somebody who can help me with this. And I really wanted to get into the high school space, because one thing I was noticing is like, sometimes when I talk to college students, I leave those sessions like, dang, I wish I would have met you earlier. Like I wish I would have had this conversation with you as a senior in high school. So I looked for youth speaking agencies. I found the agency I'm with now. I cold applied online. They asked me for a demo video. I was like, I don't have one. He's like, how do you get booked? I'm like, I'm scrappy. Like, what do you mean? I pick up the phone. I email people. Like, I do a lot of free stuff, right? Like, I'm like, this is how I do it.
Mhm.
So he's like, okay, well, I need to see footage. So he's like, when's your next gig? I said, I'm going to Michigan State tomorrow. I put my phone on the floor until it died, and I recorded myself. And I sent that video
Right.
to the agency, and I've been with the agency for a little over 2 years now. And they have helped me triple the income.
Amazing.
So yes,
amazing. That's
so
incredible.
It is incredible.
It was really just this through line of no is not no. It's just not right now.
Yeah.
And it's really easy for people to say, okay, well, maybe I'm not cut out for this. Well, maybe I'm not going to be able to do this, or like maybe I'm not the right fit for this. And I kept telling myself that I was not going to let all the people around me tell me what I could and could not do. And I knew that I had a gift to share into the world, and I knew that I had something different that doesn't exist. So I just chalked it up to, that's why people keep telling me no, is because I have a different approach to this than they do. It has nothing to do with my talent. So I just got really scrappy. I saved money. I did Uber even after I got a job to be able to continue to make money and figure it out. And after 6 years, I finally had my big year, which was last year. Last year I did 84 speaking gigs.
Congratulations.
Wow. That's incredible. Incredible.
Yeah, so just
amazing.
Keep on going, learning and absorbing from everyone. Because if you want to get into this, speaking to people, specifically where you get paid to do it, you're going to hear no more than you hear yes. And you just got to get comfy. You just got to get
comfortable with no.
With that. So,
and not take it personally.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's probably a good life lesson in general.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Amazing.
I actually got an email right before I hopped on here. And they're like, thanks so much for your, because I'd be following up. I'm like, hey, it's me again. And they're like, we've actually decided to move in a different direction. I could have got on this call and been like, man, is something really wrong with me? Like I could have second guessed myself. Nope. I'm just like, I'm just not the person that needs to be on that stage. I'm going to keep moving.
Amazing.
I think that's
wow. This has been incredible. Annie,
so
great job finding her.
And thanks for saying yes.
And
to
thank
us.
you for saying yes to us. New little podcast. We're going to be, we're recording a few and then we're starting to put them out. But this has been, you're our second guest. Amazing.
Yeah. And
incredible.
You made it feel so comfortable. And I
so fun. This was so fun. I, was, like I said, tired when I started today. Now I'm energized.
I know.
Let's go.
I'm ready to go. Like I'm ready to rock. I have a whole different perspective on life.
I know. I need you every day in my ear. Wake me up.
Well, that's what
I'm following on Instagram as soon as we get off this call.
Yes. Well, whatever I can do to help to promote this, please keep me posted.
We'll keep you posted. We'll let you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will.
As soon as it's out, we'll let you know. Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
We're gonna be, as soon as we have, like, we're doing a few, getting them in the can, and then we're gonna be dropping like a few at a time and throwing it out there to the world. So we'll be sharing it. We'll be sharing all your info, making sure people follow with you, but definitely follow How They Hire. You're amazing.
Yeah.
This has been so fun.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nicki.
Thank you so much.
So
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks everyone for watching.